One of the things to deal with when you have an older home, especially an older farmhouse like I have, is wiring. Trying to run wires through a wall or something like that, especially when it comes to thin speaker wires, stuff like that for a surround system, if you want to install that, it can be a pain. We're not dealing with standard traditional drywall and vertical studs like most modern homes. We've got plaster, we've got lath walls, we got all kinds of crazy stuff. It makes it a pain. So, what do? Go something like this. This is the Ultimea Skywave X40. And it's really nice surround sound system, and it gets rid of all the wires and actually sounds good. Check this thing out. Hi, I'm Chris with Gadgets and Gravel. Yes, I was sent this for review and test purposes, but nobody will get any input on this video or see it before you, so it's new to everybody at the same time. That out of the way. Like I said, this is the Ultimea Skywave X40. Now, I previously reviewed the Poseidon M60 from Ultimea, and it's a smaller system, it's a little different setup, and it's a more of a budget option for a smaller room. This one takes it up a notch and is gonna fill your room a lot better with more sound. It's got more features. We actually have surround speakers because this is a 5.1.2 system. So this means we've got our sound bar here, which contains the bulk of our sound. We've got a 6.5-inch subwoofer and two wireless surround speakers. Now these things are really nice because we have wireless subwoofer. All you do is give it power. We have wireless surround speakers. All you do is give them power, and they all connect back to the soundbar with what they call CineMesh. So CineMesh is a 5.8 megahertz system, so frequency to connect back to it. So your Wi-Fi, you've got 2.4 and 5 gigahertz typically, and with this we're running with 5.8, so we can avoid any interference with that. I haven't had any issues as far as lag. No, watching different things, whether it's a movie or a football game or just doing audio tests on it, trying to see where I can pinpoint delays or disconnects. And for the most part, I don't catch any of that. It is quick. I don't have any issues. What I see on the TV versus what I hear behind me is very, very, very close. It's so imperceptible. There are moments though when I have had a kick out, and that is generally when I'm using Bluetooth connected to the speaker because aside from the wired connectivity in the back, because we've got HDMI eARC to connect to your TV, so you can control your soundbar through the TV's remote. While the remote does come with the soundbar, so you need a remote for that. I'll talk about that in a second. But so connect directly to your TV. You can use the same remote used for your TV volume, and it'll start controlling the soundbar. So that's really handy. But we also have an HDMI in, which the pass through. So if you want to plug in like a Blu-ray player, a game console, or something like that, it'll plug in directly to the soundbar and get 4K pass-through with HDR to the TV, and you don't have to mess with trying to get something plugged into the back of your TV. You just plug it right in the soundbar, and it takes care of it all for you. So that's really nice. We also have optical plug-in in the back if you want to do optical cable to your TV, as well as an aux plug-in, so 3.5 millimeter, and like I said, as Bluetooth to connect to your phone to play it just like a really good Bluetooth speaker. So with all that said, the sound quality is great. The soundbar has all the sound we're going to need. We're pumping out total across this entire system with about 530 watts peak power. Now that is the entire system at its max. That's not each speaker individually added up and that's what you have. That is the total power output from the entire system. So with the soundbar, we've got all of our speakers across the front, but what makes this unique is that unlike some of the lower budget speakers, we actually have true Dolby Atmos support here because instead of trying to virtually emulate sounds going up so that we can surround you and whatever you're watching sound, this actually has upward firing speakers. So we have two sets of speakers on each end of the soundbar shooting upwards to bounce that sound off the ceiling and down to you. So it's really great getting you true surround sound system. Now, when it comes to the subwoofer, now that is rated to have 35 to 20 kilohertz. So 35 megahertz down 35 to 20 kilohertz. So the lower the frequency, the more rumble, the deeper the bass. Now that is the claimed range. I don't have any way to actually measure that. I ran a few sound tests using different sounds and songs and different audio frequencies that claim to reach that frequency. It sounded good. It was deep. It was vibrating. I got a glass of water set on top, trying to visualize it, and I got a little bit. The glass slid around on top of it, so there's enough vibration on there to keep things moving. This isn't going to be an audiophile sound system. This is one for anybody who's wanting to upgrade their sound system, who maybe had a basic sound system, was using the speakers on their TV, or one system some ease of use in the setup because of the wireless setup. It makes it really easy to get this thing put together and rolling without much effort. But that's the subwoofer does a really great job. So with the subwoofer, they're using Gravis, which is a ultralinear system inside the speaker to help with reducing distortion when the speaker's running at lower frequencies. So it's a really great system. Now the speaker itself is about 6.5 inches. We've got a good range. It is a ported box. It's a really nice looking box. It's got some good color accents into it, similar to like this, which got kind of a gold accent to it to give a little bit of a little pizzazz, right? Something just straight black or black and white and gray and silver. So it's a nice look. It isn't overdone. So I think it's a good design there. We move to the surround speakers. Now, these are good speakers. They have a good surround system. The speakers have good range in them. They're not tiny. They've got a good space for have good resonance inside of it, so it isn't going to sound tinny or just empty sounding to it. So it's a good, well-built system. But like I said, they're really easy. They're labeled left and right, and you literally just plug them into the wall. They automatically connect to the system, and then you're up and running. So it's simple to set up. There's not a lot of work to get it going and up and moving for anything like that. When you go to control it, we've got the remote. So this is the actual remote that comes with it. It's a nice remote. There's nothing fancy about it, but it does give you complete control over the entire system. So they've got X Upmix, which is kind of a way to enables different features within the Dolby Atmos chip. So if you want Dolby Atmos and all that to be automatically managed for you, just turn it on, let it go. It's on by default, so just leave it alone. And I did notice a difference with it off. It did sound less full or less accurate. You don't lose surround system, but it doesn't separate the channels the same, and so you don't get the same just overall feel with it. So it's a good job there. You can control the up firing level from the remote, the surround sound levels. You get equalizer, so you can adjust the different levels there. So with basic, you're going to get to change the bass, the mids, and the treble, but you can go into custom and adjust it across the range. But to make it easy is in the app, which I'll cover in a moment, you do get different preset modes. So you've got movie, you've got cinema, you got sports, you got game, you got music, you got voice. You got a bunch of different things in there to kind of preset that for you if you don't want to mess with changing that. But the remote does the rest of the stuff. You can adjust the bass, change your inputs, switch it to Bluetooth, play, pause, all that good stuff in the remote. So it's kind of nice. You do also have controls on top of the unit as well, so you can change the power, your input, switch it to Bluetooth, as well as change the volume directly from Soundbar. Really nice. That's kind of it as far as the design, the basic usage of it. The really interesting thing about this, so just like the Poseidon M60 that I reviewed, when they ship this, with this being a large soundbar, so it's going to fit underneath most. This is a 50-inch TV, and it kind of fits just perfectly with this TV. So with a typical soundbar, you're going to have a large box to go with that. Well, Ultimea gets around that by making it so it actually comes apart. So you actually twist the two ends together to lock into the center piece, and then they all work together. So it's really cool. It's an interesting way to package together so it ships easily, and I don't notice any difference as far as connectivity or sound or anything like that, so it's kind of cool. Let's talk about that app. So like the Poseidon M60 that I reviewed already, you can connect this to the app, connects via Bluetooth to the speaker, and once you get it added to the app, it's nice and easy. You get in here, and you can kind of see what you've got. So like I said, you got your volume controls, you got power, you can change your source, and EQ. All that's adjustable from the home screen. You get into EQ, and here are the predefined different presets you have here. And these are just going to tune the frequencies and the speakers and different levels to better enhance whatever it is that you're watching or listening to if you choose music. When you go to the bottom, you can adjust the effects. So you can adjust the bass level yourself. You can change the mid-range and treble as well, and also adjust the surround, the up firing. And like I said, that up mix, which kind of goes through here and tells you a little bit about how it's working and what it's doing. We can go into customize, and this is where you get more control over the frequency, so you get to adjust the equalizer across different ranges to get it better tuned for just how you want to listen to it. And that's really it. In the settings, there's not a whole lot here. You can change whether there's a sound when it comes on, how long it's going to be on. It does have a little display on the bottom, so you can set how long that stays on, brightness and all that stuff. So basic stuff there. But once you're kind of done, you can either use the app to control everything, or you can get it set up, leave it alone, use the remote if you want to make adjustments to it. But as far as changing the volume, all that's done directly through your TV remote if you connect it via eARC, and it's really easy to use. So there's not much trouble there. Using this has been nice. Like I said, there's very little delay, if any at all, when watching typical content, whether that's stream or directly plugged into with like a Blu-ray player or something like that, or gaming console. Extremely limited, if any, delay between that wireless connection to the subwoofer or the surround sound, so it's kind of nice there. It does work really well. Now, the upward firing speakers, it's a relatively large room. It doesn't have overly high ceilings or like that, but I do kind of have an open floor plan that runs from my living room into our dining room, so it's kind of open there. But in terms of the little seating area, I do notice sound coming from the top and all around me. So it does a good job of actually giving that surround sound with the Dolby Atmos when you're watching, whether it's a chase scene or music or just people talking and walking in a crowded environment. It's really kind of almost unnerving to be sitting on the couch or something like that, watching something, and hear somebody start talking behind you when there's nobody behind you. So it does a good job with that. Is it groundbreaking or anything like that? No, it's not. Like, I don't feel like seriously in the scene. Like, it isn't going to be that way. We're still doing, like I said, this is a 5.1.2 system. So it's not like we're working with 7, 10, 12 speakers to really cover the entire sound stage, but it does a great job. This is one I definitely recommend if you're looking for a sound system that's easy to set up, offers a lot of flexibility, and has a lot of great features to it, and sounds good. This is a great option to check out. So I'll put a link down below. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out. I'll be happy to help you out best I can. So link for this. I'll also link down though for the Poseidon M60 if you're curious about that, so you can check out that video. Make sure you like, subscribe. It makes a huge difference to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. I got lots of stuff coming up. I got some more things I'm working on for my basement, some new wiring projects for that. Got a lot of stuff coming. So look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks for sticking around.